Tonight on MetroNews. A late dumping of snow comes at the right time for Mt Hutt. Canterbury has a problem with counterfeit cash. And Templeton residents are fighting against a quarry in their backyard.
Kia ora, good evening. Welcome to your local news brought to you by the students of the New Zealand Broadcasting School.
Winter's arrived, bringing good news for skiers and Mt Hutt. In recent years, the ski fields opened late due to a lack of snow.
However, this year everything's on track. Laura Grigg has been checking out the snow. Laura, what are the conditions like?
Well, according to the team at Mt Hutt, the conditions are looking really great. This time last week, though, they didn't think they'd have enough snow to open because it was one of the warmest Mays on record. But remember the big southerly storm last weekend? Well, it was just what Canterbury ski fields needed. The groomers are out, the diggers are on, and snow's being cleared here at Mt Hutt as staff gears up for opening day tomorrow.
This is probably one of our best starts to a winter season for over 10 years.
Looks can be deceiving. There's up to a metre of snow across the mountain.
And you can be looking at a mountain that looks pretty scratchy and rocky, but actually the snow base is still pretty good because on the main trails where it counts, where people are skiing, there's still good depth of snow.
Even with the best snow base Mt Hutt has seen here for over 10 years, snowmakers have still been working hard for the past 4 days. This will bring an extra 10 centimetres of snow to the trails and will help stabilise the slopes.
We pump high pressure water, high pressure air, and they go through a fine nozzle in the top of the gun and it breaks it down, combines the two together, and then as that floats out with the right temperature in the air, it falls as snow.
Mt Hutt's got 8 new snow guns, taking their total to over 100. Together they can make 3 tonnes of snow every 2 minutes.
These yellow ones you see behind us, they're about 50,000 New Zealand dollars each.
But proving their value.
Last year was a great example of where the investment paid off. We had one of our lowest snowfall seasons on record.
The future's also looking challenging as temperatures and the snow line are predicted to rise.
Depending on where you are, the snow line could increase by up to 400 metres by the end of the century under the most extreme scenario.
Those worries seem far away at the moment. Hutt's confident snowmaking and the storm have provided a solid start to this year's season. James McKenzie said they're expecting another busy opening day this year with around 1,500 people expecting to hit the slopes. So it may be worth getting up extra early. Pack your chains and plenty of extra layers because the forecast is for a high of just 2 degrees.
Thanks, Laura. Retailers are being warned to watch out for fake banknotes. As Connor Sterling reports, they've been an ongoing problem around the country, but Canterbury has been hit the worst.
Just like that. Watch the bottom of the screen as a shopkeeper claims on Facebook that another counterfeit note is used, this time in New Brighton. Fake banknotes are a problem in Canterbury, with the Reserve Bank telling MetroNews nearly 115 counterfeits have been discovered since March. Normally, it's 1 or 2 a month nationwide.
For retailers, obviously, it's really important to make sure that the cash that they're accepting from customers is legitimate and authentic, because ultimately, at the end of the day, they'll lose out if they're accepting fraudulent money.
They're popping up all across the city, prompting a warning from Retail New Zealand.
There's certainly an assumption that cash circulating in the economy is pretty safe, but it's always a good idea to check that the notes you're receiving are legitimate and authentic New Zealand currency.
Although New Zealand has had issues with counterfeit notes before, our figures are extremely low compared to other countries. In 2015, we had just 0.7 fake notes per million, Canada had 9, Australia 28, the Eurozone 48, Mexico 71, with the UK top at 77. If people pay cash, retailers are being urged to inspect all notes.
But our advice to all retailers is to absolutely check every note that you receive, check it against the security features and make sure that it's genuine.
And if you're wondering what those security features are, all our real notes are printed on plastic film, so they're hard to scrunch up and can't be ripped. Check out the bird. When you tilt it, this gold bar runs down it. Also, the windows. They're embossed and you should be able to feel this number down here. Although you can't see it, it is there.
And if a customer tries to pay with a fake note, the Reserve Bank says to politely decline it and call the police. Connor Sterling, Metro News.
With the City Council granting licences for 2 new e-scooter brands, there'll be a lot more work keeping them all charged up. Brooke Hunter catches up with one so-called juicer to find out what he thinks of the upcoming competition.
Regan Breen is a juicer, making up to $10,000 a month from charging Lime scooters. It's so successful he's quit his job to do it full time.
I've done over 100 in a day. It takes a toll on the body and the mind.
There are several hundred juicers in Christchurch, making $6 per scooter. Up till now, he's only worked for Lime, but that's about to change, with the City Council giving 2 more e-scooter companies the green light. Beam, a Singapore company, launches at the end of this month, while Flamingo, based in Wellington, starts in September. For Regan, it's an opportunity.
Christchurch is one of the flattest cities in the world. So riding a scooter in here is a no-brainer.
The Christchurch City Council has placed a limit of 1,600 scooters in hopes to prevent congestion on the footpaths. 1,000 of those scooters will be allocated to Lime, whereas the remaining 600 will be split between Beam and Flamingo. The council will be working with Beam to trial marked scooter bays, and if successful, more could follow.
So we don't want them cluttered. I mean, how many times I pick them up, people just leave them over, right across the walkway, and it's disrespectful.
Regan reckons designated parking bays could reduce some of the backlash.
I have been yelled at because you put these scooters out here, this is a waste of time, and you go, well, some people do park them wrong. But it's obviously about education and saying, put them in the right place and everyone gets around.
When the competition arrives, he may end up working for them as well.
If that one behind comes better than the other, why would you stick with one? But obviously having every option up your sleeve is not a bad thing. Obviously you've got the setup there, you might as well use it.
The additional scooters are potentially a bonus for customers and juicers alike. Brooke Hunter, MetroNews.
0800 Hungry is the largest food bank in Christchurch, delivering goods to anyone who needs a hand. All I ask for in return is a $5 donation. Emma Turton has the story.
What sets 0800 Hungry apart is they deliver on both their promises and their food.
And we believe that if they've got the guts to put their hand up and say help, then we're there to provide it.
Set up in 2001, they get their supplies from farms and supermarkets which donate goods past their best by date.
We've done over 230,000 food parcels since we started, in 17 and a half years, and we're in excess of it now, but over $33 million worth of food and other product that's been brought in here.
They have a diverse range of volunteers from churches, schools and people living with disabilities.
We've got a lot of children who don't have breakfast and other needs that find it hard for daily life to put everything on the table and pay rent and stuff like that. So, volunteering here is a good thing to do.
To get a parcel, it's pretty easy.
By ringing up, all we ask them for is their name, their address, of course, how many adults, how many children, their phone number so we can contact them, if they have any pets as well, and that's it.
In a standard week, they deliver about 260 parcels. In a month, 870, and in a year, just over 9,380. And they're just one of 18 food banks in Canterbury. The food bank also provides pet food and toiletries.
It shows that somebody cares. It shows that somebody's out there thinking of them. It also gives that person relief at the other end.
0800 Hungry gives people a hand up, not a handout. Emma Turton, MetroNews.
Coming up, plans for a new quarry are upsetting Templeton residents.
And the James Hay Theatre is open for business, restored back to its former glory.
My name is Aaron Soma, from New Zealand originally. Now I'm working at the BBC in London, at BBC World as a producer. So I went to broadcasting school, studied there and then got my internship at TVNZ. Decided London was calling, so came here, started working at BBC World, and I've been here for about 3 or 4 months now. Absolutely just fell in love with this place. I mean, it's incredible, it's like a dream for any journalist. And to know that what you're producing is going out to tens of millions of people every hour, people watching it around the globe. It's incredible. There's that saying, the city that never sleeps, and this is one of those, of course. It's a huge, huge place. Great different little pockets of the city. It's amazing, it's always buzzing. At the moment I'm working night shifts, so that's overnight. So I start at about 10 p.m. and finish at 7 a.m. When I arrive, America is just going to sleep, but Asia is opening up and then Europe starts to open up. So it feels like a bit of a dream actually to be working here. the course is great because it's very much in line with what the industry is doing, and that's really important because it gives you this kind of almost this worldly knowledge of what's actually happening. It can lead you to this big wide world. You can do whatever you want to do, put your mind to it and get out there and see what's around.
Welcome back. Templeton residents are angry about a proposed quarry they say will ruin their community. Louise Tenuth went to speak to locals about why the proposal is an issue and joins us now. So Louise, what's the problem?
Well, this quarry would bring a lot of change, and it's change the community doesn't want. Driving through Templeton, most houses have a no quarry sign on them, a good indication they want it stopped. And locals say they've got a good indication that they'll be doing so. They've been fighting for nearly 2 years against a quarry they don't want in their town.
There's just no way that we want this quarry to go ahead.
Fulton Hogan say their old quarry on Pound Road is on its last legs, and the new location is perfect.
The material that's in that location is good quality aggregate, and it's also very close to the state highway network.
Perfect spot business-wise, but just on the edge of town. Residents are worried about noise, extra traffic and dust.
I was surprised at how many people live in Templeton because they have respiratory problems. They have got some major concerns about air quality.
Fulton Hogan acknowledges dust can be a problem, but they'll introduce a number of measures to minimise it.
There can be nuisance dust. We're looking at making sure that the technology on the site and the size of the site and how we would operate the site, if successful, would see a smaller footprint of the area open.
This is the start of the proposed site in Templeton, covering 170 hectares in total. That's roughly 170 rugby fields. If all goes ahead, there'll be 750 trucks travelling in and out a day. And residents warn all those trucks will damage the expensive New Southern motorway.
We authorise a quarry to operate that's going to add 1,500 trucks per day back onto that road.
With Fulton Hogan determined to proceed and residents opposed, the matter's set down for a hearing in September. Today was the last day for residents to get their submissions in. Now Fulton Hogan has 75 days to formulate their response before that hearing gets underway. But one local resident told me he's concerned the company will make promises they can't or won't keep.
Thanks, Louise. Christchurch's Town Hall complex has taken another step forward with its restoration, with the James Hay Theatre open for business. As Stephen Walton discovers, the new venue is a mix of the old and the new.
8 years on from the quakes, and this restoration job is finally complete.
So we've taken it down to its bare bones and we've brought it back to a new structure, an enhanced structure, to look after its life for the next 25 to 50 years to 100 years.
The James Hay Theatre is the smaller of the Town Hall's 2 concert areas. It's now fully refurbished with new features, including freshly designed back rooms, a flexible stage area, and a new sound system that can adapt the facility's acoustics for different performances. The system is only the second of its kind in New Zealand and incorporates 31 microphones and 154 speakers.
Well, I think now that we've put in a new acoustic system, we've now made the facility more capable for multiple acts.
The theatre seats 750 and another 250 can be accommodated by retracting the ground floor seats to open up extra space.
Whatever it might be that we could use the facility for, we've given ourselves that capability and that flexibility.
The theatre was originally opened in 1972 and named in honour of Sir James Hay, who was one of the driving forces behind the construction of the Town Hall complex.
My dad and my granddad will be thrilled to bits to see the restoration that's occurred, because it's been a huge project and has taken so long, and a big commitment by the City Council.
For the Hay family, the restored theatre ensures that Sir James Hay's legacy lives on.
It's certainly a big part of our family history, but it's a big part of Christchurch's history too.
Another chapter of that history can now be written. Stephen Walton, MetroNews.
The government's wellbeing budget has been shaped by Māori thinking more than ever before. Connor Sterling joins us now with Helen Lay from Te Pūtahitanga o Te Waiponamu to discuss this. Connor.
Thanks for coming in today, Helen. It means a lot. I just wanted to start by asking what the role of your organisation was.
Our role as a whānau Ora commissioning agency is to advance the aspirations of whānau, for them to be self-determining, to basically take their own lives into their hands and to drive their futures forward.
So how does that tie into whānau Ora specifically?
Well, Ora, which means complete well-being, and whānau, meaning the extended family, we believe has totally influenced this government in terms of bringing that much wider holistic approach to how can we achieve well-being in our lifetime.
So what are some of the issues that you're seeing in terms of impeding Māori well-being?
Uppermost is the view of racism, institutional racism, and that sector mentality thinking, when you only see a person as to how they fit in the health sector, the education sector, to justice, and you don't consider the wider context. So we believe that a whānau Ora approach to government and to its budget is about removing those barriers and getting departments to think widely about the best interests of the family.
So what's an example of one of those strategies?
One of the examples might be looking at the well-being of a family home. Is it warm? Is it healthy? Are the windows drafty? Are you able to provide opportunities for a family to be economically secure, to have an educational future in front of them? So we have things like hikoi waiwai, which is literally a journey of the feet. It's a cultural tourism adventure over on the West Coast, but it's also about that family standing in their own economic wealth and using the land as their platform for change.
Speaking of economic wealth, $80 million has been injected into whānau Ora in this budget for the next 4 years. Now that's a great headline, but what's that going to look like for whānau individually?
The detail is yet to be found. I believe that it's the approach that's been taken to the budget that's really significant. The 80 million will help government to understand what does it mean to be holistic in your application. But I think across other sectors, for instance in Oranga Tamariki, the use of family care placements and iwi family group coordinators, or even the $47 a week lift in benefits, all of those show that the government is trying to take a whānau Ora approach to focusing on the broader interests of the family.
So just to wrap things up, what would you like to see in the future for Māori in New Zealand?
I would love to see whānau being able to shape their own futures, not having to wait for Lambton Key or the terrace to set up committees and to design their way into their future. Families have the answers. Let's place our faith in them.
Cool. Thank you very much, Helen. Back to you.
Thanks, Connor. Coming up, a push to get youth swinging into the central city. And these blokes are dodging more than the rough.
My name is Ella Cook. I'm a television production manager in London. I work for a company called Red House Television. I work on property shows, comedy and entertainment. I worked as the production assistant on New Zealand's Got Talent, on Target, on What Now. I came to London nearly 4 years ago now. Didn't have any issues finding a job at all. I went to a company called Hat-Trick Productions. We won a BAFTA last year, as well as were nominated this year. To even be nominated and go to the awards was something I never ever thought that I would ever do, but then to also win it and go up on the BAFTA stage was just a brilliant feeling. I love living in London. Definitely a big change from living in New Zealand. There's so many people, it's so busy and bustling all the time. I also love being able to just go to the theatre or see something different every night. The professionalism that we are taught at broadcasting school really helps in the wider world. I had my degree on my CV as well as the work experience that I'd gained after my internship. I would never have thought that I'd get this far. It's the best thing that I ever did for my career. There's no way that I would be where I am today without the degree that I have.
Welcome back. Veterans Golf at Lincoln is on a roll. The Thursday group there is so popular, it has a 5-year waitlist and many don't make the cut.
So those who've missed out formed their own Wednesday group called the Coffin Dodgers. Here's Jasmine Ning.
Old men playing good old golf at the Lincoln Golf Course.
Well, supposedly retired people, so 60 to, we got one guy 91. It's quite a good crew for old people.
At least 50 golfers gather here every Wednesday, dodging more than just bunkers and the rough. They're called the Wednesday Whackers, or more famously dubbed as the Coffin Dodgers.
It was a name that came up above their bar. There's photos of all the life members, and of those life members, there's only Alec and myself that are actually still playing. The rest of them are gone, who haven't dodged the coffin yet. So that's what it's all about.
Well, can you see what's behind me? The cemetery.
No matter the weather, they say the banter brings them back every time.
There's the odd rat bag, but not very many, no. They're a good friendly group. Makes a difference of coming along. You know, the day I go home in a bad mood from golf is the day I'll give it up, I think.
And the motivation to win? A free ticket into the raffle drawn at the end of the day.
Very competitive. They always like to win a meat pack or something.
For most, this is the highlight of their week, and age is no barrier.
Oh no, it's just a number really.
They're a pretty hardy bunch.
It's great. And it keeps me off the streets on a Wednesday.
And the Coffin Dodgers don't plan to stop anytime soon. Jasmine Ning, MetroNews.
There's a push to get teenagers back into the central city and not just for the nightlife. Arwen Sommer reports.
Playtime on the central city bump track. And there's more to look forward to right beside it and soon to be opened. Big swings specially designed for youth.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of use out of those and everyone's going to want to get a little photo.
And having like little playgrounds around the city and stuff that older kids can go and enjoy is really cool.
The Chicha Swings is a new gap-filler project right next to the Margaret Mayhew playground. They're designed to look great on Instagram.
We want people to go down there with their friends, we want people to have fun, we want people to have a laugh, meet friends down there, use it as a connection point. We want to see it used as many people as possible.
Aotearoa, a school that moved back into the central city last month, has no green spaces for the kids to play. So staff are glad there'll be more places they can take students to stretch their legs.
Having this just 5 minutes down the road really gives us the opportunity to get out of the building and just get some fresh air and get kids active.
The council thinks it's a great way to re-engage young people with the city.
Younger people are the future of the city and the future of everything really. We can't build the city for a generation who isn't going to be there when it's done. We've got to think about that generation.
A day-long non-stop swing-a-thon is planned at the launch party later this month. Arwen Sommer, MetroNews.
One woman's on a mission to make sure all kids get pens and pencils. I grabbed my pencil case and headed along. Colouring in, the staple of any great childhood. But for some kids, this isn't a reality. So Colour My World is doing something about it.
Colour My World started probably in my head a couple of years ago. Had hordes of extra pens and pencils for my children. Could these go somewhere where kids were more in need?
Pippa put a call out on Facebook, looking for more supplies.
I was inundated with pens and pencils and realised that this was something that we could really do.
Now she's based at the former New Brighton Primary School and she's teamed up with another community group.
We have two main goals probably. One of those is accessibility to technology, so sewing machines, overlockers, the things that you need to sew. Teaching people lots of things they can do to reduce their own waste.
Working together, they recycle colouring supplies, sew bags to keep it all in, and donate it to the children who really need it.
We just made our first donation to YWCA in Christchurch, 30 packs.
And it's not just the idea of giving to the children either. It's also the benefits that colouring offers.
And obviously colouring and drawing is a really therapeutic thing to do, you know, if you're going through hardship.
This is the stuff that Colour My World need to continue doing what they're doing. They need these bags, they need rubbers, they need pencil sharpeners, and they definitely need pencils so they can keep putting rainbows in every bag. Timmy Applin-Barrett, MetroNews.
Natasha Payne is here now with the weather. So Natasha, are most places feeling the cold or is it just us?
No, it was a mixed bag around the country today, Isaac. Most places saw some sun and showers. The thunder in Auckland has reduced to rain, while windy Wellington definitely lived up to its name. Moving to tomorrow's weather now, the south is looking a little bit warmer, with none of the centres dropping below 0. Christchurch has a high of 13 and a low of 4 and can expect some sunshine and showers. Ashburton can expect a low of 4 with drizzle. Timaru is slightly colder with a low of 2, and Twizel only has a 4-degree difference between its high and low, so perfect weather for that snow to really settle in. Hamner, please make the most of those hot pools as your high will only be 8. Kaikoura will see some rain for the first time in a few days, with some heavy winds also expected. Oxford, no rain for you, but it will be chilly and crisp. And finally, the weekend is not looking too bad, so Isaac and Timmy, it could be the last chance to get out before this chilly weather really settles in.
Thanks, Natasha. And that's all for Metro News tonight.
For those stories and more, head to our website, metronews.co.nz, where you can find us on Facebook and Instagram.
Join us again tomorrow night at 7. I'm Timmy Applin-Barrett.
And I'm Isaac Gunson.
Ka kite anō.